And welcome to another episode of Ask Us Questions. Hopefully you know my name.
So, we have been in Mexico for 3 months now. So we have a list of questions that you all sent us.
That we asked you to ask us.
That's on my phone, so should we just get started?
Let's go. That's why we can't record.
Is you rolling? Is you rolling? Is you rolling? Is you rolling?
Okay, so the first question is from Earth to Erica. How long do you plan on staying in Mexico? And how long do you plan on living in the van overall? And do you see yourselves getting a home in the future?
Sorry, we outside, y'all. Erica like Badu. Well, we plan on staying in Mexico as long as this visa allows. We stayed 3 months, and we had 3 more months. And they're letting people extend visas.
Yeah.
So I'm sure at least 3 more months. But to be honest, it's a little up in the air due to this virus.
Because the borders between Mexico and Guatemala are closed, so we're essentially in Mexico indefinitely. How long do you plan on living in the van overall? Honestly, I don't know.
To be honest, when that cake is right, when the timer says ding, we gonna pop out the van like hey. But also indefinitely, I would say until we're in the location where we're like, ooh, this looks nice, which may not be in the Western Hemisphere.
And then the last question is, do you see yourselves getting a home in the future?
Almost definitely, at least one.
So the next questions are from Abby A. So the first one is, what's the difference in the cost of living from being in the States in a month? I'd say
less.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of hard. I'd say our biggest costs overall: groceries, gas, phone bills, insurance, car insurance. Everything is significantly cheaper in Mexico, especially produce, but the one thing that is expensive is gas. Gas is more expensive here than it is in America, so it adds up because Mexico is not a small country. So I can't say exactly how much less it is off top, but it's significantly less. And even like going out to eat at a restaurant, you can get 1,000,001 dishes, and it'll probably, for 2 people, and it'll probably still be less than $20. So
and you can order the whole left side of the menu and maybe the right, and your total will be like $31 max for a party of 5. So it's pretty cool.
The next question from Abby A is, what have been your favorite stops so far / best spots in Mexico for vans?
Well, one of my favorite places that I was really excited to go to was Mazatlan, which is why we stayed so long. When I had looked it up, it was like a city on the beach, and they had like modern amenities, so I thought that was like really dope. Plus we met some cool people. Word to the homies. I would also say, where were we at? Puerto Libertad. So there's a lot of like beach. There's a lot of coastline, like where you could just go and be literally like on the Gulf of Mexico or literally on the ocean. Like you can park right there. So those places too, like you won't run into a lot of people, and like honestly, it's just I like by the beach, and I like certain cities.
Yeah, I'm like, for me, it's any spot that was by the beach where there were a lot of people, which there are a few of those spots, so use iOverlander to help you find them.
Straight up.
And then the last question from Abby A is, what's the experience being black in Mexico like compared to the States? This is also like the most frequently asked question that we got. Do we want to answer it now or do it? Come back.
back to it.
We're gonna come back to that question so we can give a
better answer.
Yeah. Questions from Ashley Williams. She asks, what happens when you need a repair? Where do you park? So, when we need a repair...
Wherever it broke.
No, two separate questions.
Oh, oops. My fault.
But for when we need a repair, you got that one.
What?
For what do we do when we need a repair?
Oh, when we need a repair, you go to a tire. Ha! For real though, look up 𝐕𝐅, TALLER. There are a ton of qualified mechanics. Some who will pull up on you. Will just come to you and get under your car, start speaking very rapid Spanish. You point out the issue, and I'm not a fan of stereotypes, but we found that people here are very good at fixing cars, and cost-wise, you're not even gonna pay like a fraction of what it is in the US, and people will be happy to help you fix whatever issue, rapidamente. So pretty dope. What was the second one?
Where do we park? Sometimes it's from places on iOverlander. Otherwise, if we pull up somewhere and it seems good,
just park right there. Yeah, by a park, across somebody's house, if it looked like a chill neighborhood. Yeah.
Next question is from a black square.
Hey.
They said, on a mental/emotional level, how have you adjusted?
Woo. Mentally, language barrier. You gotta remember that if I start speaking to you in English, or to somebody in English, they're not gonna know what you're saying. So, like every time I wake up or something will happen, or I'll go outside, I gotta remember that, okay, you gotta speak Spanish. Like that's what's spoken here. They don't speak English here, so that's been a lot. Emotionally, I would say throughout this entire journey, not just Mexico, it's been adjusting to like alternative living, but also like being in charge of your own destiny. So like if something goes wrong and you upset and you unhappy, you kind of chose this, so you can't be mad. Like you want to be mad, but you can't. Like you did this, so.
I say for me, I noticed from essentially the moment we left the U.S. to coming into Mexico, a sense of relief and calmness, even though that doesn't really seem to make sense because coming into Mexico was more coming into the unknown, but just because of the way the U.S. is, even when we're living in our van, like you're still surrounded by people who are not living in their van, so they're like always stressed out, always just a lot of the energy in the U.S. is not the greatest.
A little hostile.
Yeah, so mentally and emotionally I feel a lot calmer. And then yeah, just in terms of where we are on our journey, like if something happens unexpected, something bad happens, I feel like I'm now at a place where I'm like, it's just part of the journey, like everything's gonna be okay.
Straight up.
Whereas like I would have been stressed about it like 6 months ago. Jessica Neela says, how is navigating bathroom/shower use in Mexico?
So, bathrooms, well, I mean, we have our bathroom with us. Dumping has been pretty easy. You just kind of pull up somewhere nobody's at and let loose. Shower use, we've encountered public shower bathrooms that are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a dope concept that they have out here. A lot of bird baths, and luckily, if you make friends, they might let you use a shower/bathroom. Word to po.
Ocean baths too, you know.
Straight up, you can take a bath in the ocean. Make sure though, after you get off and after you dry off, to take a second one to get the salt off, so you're not salty all day. Just a tip.
So the next questions are from Marie Michaels. She got a few questions.
Okay.
So the first one is, could you talk about buying land or real estate in Mexico? That's the first one.
Okay. Well, we are not technically the best experts at that, but we have encountered, we have some friends, they also got a YouTube channel who actually, it's called Escape Babylon, who actually, they live out here and they bought land out here. They moved from the States. So, in my encounter, they love it out here. They said once you buy it, it's not like you pay property taxes like in the US, so you kind of buy it and you own it and it's yours. So that seems pretty cool. I'm sure though, this is just in any like non-US, non-American, non-Western country, you gonna get the gringo price. I'm sure you're not gonna get the like actual price of what they would sell it to people out there. So if you do in fact want that price, you may have to work on your Spanish, or you may have to bring somebody who speaks Spanish and can translate for you, or else you may pay a extra.
So the next question is, how is van life viewed by some people in Mexico? Honestly, I feel like, well, this could also just be because we are not Mexican and we're clearly like not from this country, that people think it's super cool and are excited, versus like in America, people think you broke and homeless. Yeah, but haven't had any, I feel like we haven't had any negative things just because we lived in it. Yeah. People are like, oh, like, where's the bathroom? You got a shower in there?
Right.
They'll tell us where to get fresh water from.
We in fact encountered an old dude who was like, I had a van like that. I had a van just like that. It was the party disco van.
Yeah. He was like, probably like 80.
80. Just walked up and was like, yo, I had this car. And I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Marie's next question is, are there common laws or rules non-locals should know? Say hello to people.
Yeah. At least a hola or buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenas noches. Hit them with something and people will react like positively or will smile at you. Because it's like, oh, you're not, you know, the typical, these people aren't like, basically, yeah, like they're not, like people in Mexico, like tourism is a thing out here, so it's like you're not probably the first tourist they've seen, but if you don't act like a tourist necessarily, then it's more welcoming. People will open up, will talk to you, will tell you where to get stuff, tell you something that, you know, maybe you need to hear.
Can you live there and not speak Spanish and be okay?
I would say, because Google Translate exists, yes, you can make it happen. However, there are some situations that may be like, you know, you can't pull out your phone and type fast enough, and it would just be helpful to know basic Spanish because people will work with you. But surprisingly, a lot of people, if they sense you struggling with Spanish, will, if they know English, do their best to hit you with some English. Especially if you're in the city or something like that, people are, yeah.
And I speak like no Spanish. And I will, yeah, like, because 𝐿𝐵INA has some Spanish skills.
Un poco.
But still some skill, like I have no Spanish skills. That, yeah, I could definitely see that sometimes if there were times that you weren't there and it was like me having to figure something out, it would be very difficult. But it's not impossible because there's so many people who come to Mexico and don't speak Spanish from the United States, so you're never the first one to have done it.
Yo, to be honest though, like charades, that's a good game to like learn how to play, because a lot of pointing, a lot of this and will get you a long way. It gets you what you need.
The next question from Marie is, have you made any friends in Mexico, and are there more people from outside of Mexico there? Do you feel like an outsider?
So yes, I would say that we definitely, I mean, well, we came with some people. So yes, we made some friends in Mexico, but in Mazatlan, we were lucky to get acquainted with a lovely couple and their child, and they were living in Mexico, and they welcomed us in like family. Bro really like took us in, like took care of us, you know. So yeah, you would I'm sure that's not like an uncommon experience, but as black people, it was like, whoa, are there black people in Mexico? You will see black people in Mexico. It'll kind of shock you. And then sometimes you'll even see just other American, just people in Mexico. You'll hear English and be like, what? So yeah, what was the second question?
Are there more people from outside of Mexico there?
Yes.
We met people like Honduras.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of them will see him and be like,
yeah, bro. Mi gente.
Do you feel like an outsider? Honestly, not. I do, but not any more than being in certain places in the United States. Because even if you're from the U.S., people will look at you like, what are you doing here? So
straight up. In the town that I lived in, when we were partying for van life, people called the police on us, and I was like, yo, I had grown up here like 24 years. Like, I was born here, everything, like I live here, and y'all treat me like I'm not from here. And in fact, I've been here longer than you. Out here, people is just like, yo, are you Jamaican? That's usually the question we get. Are you Jamaican? And then they'd be like, yo, dope. Thumbs up, try to take a picture, something, anything. So it's cool.
And then, would you consider buying property here? I say, personally, no. Just because I don't want to be in Mexico long term, like the other countries that I'd want to buy property in.
I would say, like tourism-wise, I would think it'd be a dope investment. But to like live here, I ain't got no problem. It's beautiful, but that's not. I would rather buy property in Africa.
And then I'll skip. Do you feel safe? Are you guys happy? Have you been to the doctor? We have not been to the doctor. We probably wouldn't go to the doctor unless.
I wouldn't go to the doctor in the United States.
Yeah.
Out here, maybe to get some blood work if I wanted to do that work myself, but no.
I feel safe. I feel happier here. I feel safer here.
Definitely happier. I feel like it has to do with being lower on the earth and just getting more sun and it being hotter.
And then, okay, now we have questions from 3 Paws for Tires. What was the hardest part about traveling through a different country?
I would say the uncertainty, because there's like a certain, like, even if I was in like the middle of nowhere, USA, there's certain things that I get because I'm still in the USA. Like, I know that, you know, there's probably going to be a gas station somewhere around here. Or there's probably going to be, you know, 7-Eleven or something like that. There are some parts of Mexico or like where we would be driving where for like, what, 100 kilometers, 100 miles, you know? Just wilderness. And so you kind of got to be like prepared and like look this stuff up ahead of time and don't assume that every place you have is going to be the same as the place before it, because there are some parts that are like clearly more well developed, and there are some places where we still in the Pueblo, and that's okay, but it's just like a mixed bag. And coming from not knowing this place, it's just like traveling, you kind of want to do that research a little ahead of time, so you know, like, I should get extra gas, or we should bring more water, or, you know, we should really buy everything at this Walmart because we won't see another Walmart for however long. So stuff like that.
Yeah, I say along with that, just like deciphering like what's the real what's the real situation somewhere versus like what people tell you. Like, one example is, for example, we drove through Sinaloa State where like people are like, oh, the Sinaloa cartel.
El Chapo.
But it's like, first of all, there's so many tourists who drive through there with their RVs to go to Mazatlan, which is at the bottom of the state. So like, how dangerous could it really be if like that's a whole industry? So yeah, just deciphering the real from the fake. So the next question is from 𝐒𝐔𝐈𝐅𝐄123. Shout out Collins. He said, is it safe? Is it safe down there as black people? I feel safer down here, and we're gonna answer the black people.
Yeah, bro. Lupita was born out here. Come on, bro.
Wow. The next question is from Toynessa. Hope you're doing well. She said, have you missed being here? To be honest, I have not missed the United States, especially with everything that's going on right now. Yeah, I have not missed. I'm trying to think. Sometimes I miss like going to the gym, but the gym's not even open.
I do be missing the gym, but yeah, it's close.
Yeah. The next question is from Emma Ruth. Shout out to you, Emma. She said, can I visit you in November? We actually don't know where we'll be in November yet, so I will keep you updated. The next question is from Ebony and Forestry. Are y'all learning Spanish? For me personally, to be honest, I haven't been like when I first got here, I was like, oh, let me do Duolingo, let me like put in some like real concrete time of Spanish learning, but I haven't made it a priority, honestly, as I've been here and just been winging it.
Obina been speaking a lot of that Spanish.
Yeah.
I will say yes, because purely out of necessity. I just want to know how to get certain things or how to ask for certain things. So I'll type it into Google Translate. And when I first was here, I made it like a priority to, 1 to 2, 3 sentences, like new phrases. Because I figured, yeah, I could learn all the vocab, and I'm sure that would help prepare me longer term. But like for right now, if I'm just trying to find where to get quinoa, I could type a pretty elaborate sentence, memorize it, practice it, and then go and speak it to somebody and get the reaction and see where. And then also, by virtue of people speaking Spanish back to you, you're not gonna understand everything that everyone's saying. And so I've been learning a lot just by people responding to me and me having to pick things up. And yeah, just like out of necessity, how do I get here, or where is this, or I'll type that in, and then I'll try my best to pronounce all of the words and speak that to somebody, and hopefully understand the response.
The second question from Ebony and Forestry is cost of living, gas, unexpected things about living there, racism. Cost of living we talked about, and as you said, gas is definitely more expensive here, even though while we've been here it's been cheaper. It's about right now it's like 19.5 pesos per liter, which is essentially $1 per liter. I do not know how many liters are in a gallon, and that's kind of like the lower end, still in the lower end range because it has been higher.
I'll say it's around
climbing.
like 3 to 4 liters per gallon, so like $3 to $4 per gallon is a good estimate.
And then unexpected things about living here. I had no real expectations, to be honest.
None. Yeah, none. I would say all the unexpected things that I found haven't been like bad unexpected things. Like, I didn't know you could just park on the beach and live. That was like a really cool unexpected thing. So we took advantage of that. We stayed for like a week, 2 weeks, because why not?
Yeah.
Oh,
racism.
to be honest, nah. People think I smoke weed and I'm Jamaican. I don't know if that's racist.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like there's nothing overt like what we're used to in the United States sometimes.
Yeah.
And people here are significantly nicer.
We was in the park and this little boy, did he call us negritos? Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. So that means no. Someone said, this from Billy D and the Delica.
Okay.
First question is, are Mexican fuel prices comparable to those in the States? A little more expensive.
I would say if you live in like a major city though, it's probably the same.
California.
Anywhere in California, yeah, it's probably the same.
Has it been hard finding places to park overnight when not at a campsite?
There's a lot of stuff on 𝐼𝐼𝐅𝐄, just a lot. And like, generally speaking, people are like not weary of like a foreign car that they haven't seen. And especially if you introduce yourselves. So like, for instance, our car had a little issue outside of someone's house. And
in a nice neighborhood.
In a nice neighborhood. And in the US, like, yo, within 30 seconds, police would have been there. Out here, they actually gave us cupcakes. I got to meet their names. Shout out Ricardo and Anna. And yeah, they were just nice. They were just like, let us know if you need any help.
Waved at us every time they came home.
Every time they seen us, it was like we was their neighbors. So it was actually pretty cool. So yeah.
His next question is, any problems being stopped by corrupt law enforcement?
Okay, so maybe I was speeding. All right,
No, you weren't speeding.
Okay, she said I wasn't speeding. I was not speeding.
You were not speeding.
I was not speeding. But yeah, we had got pulled over. They had already given me the rundown. The people who we were staying with, who had lived there, they were like, yeah, you know, you don't necessarily have to pay the police. Just act like you're a foreigner and don't know. I decided that this was a perfect time to flex all the Spanish I knew. I got out the car. They were like, yeah, da-da-da-da-da. And I ended up, you know, a little bribe. Bribery is, they look the other way. They look, you know.
But the full other things is that they stopped us and he asked them, he was like, was it because I was going too fast? And they were like, no. And then basically they walked around the car together trying to find something that was wrong. And we have like these little side lights that have been broken. And so they were like, oh. And then, yeah. But the bribe was like $20 or $10, I think it was $10.
It was like $10.
So the police officer did complain that it was very small,
but then when I looked it up, that was like standard bribe, so you know.
And honestly, it's still safer.
For real. And like the thing is, the police out here walk around with like, the police of the US don't be walking around like it's Iraq all day, every day. So they do out here. Like, you get stopped for a routine traffic stop, and homie will have like a assault rifle across his chest, but it's still a more positive interaction than in the US. So
how is traveling in Mexico changed since COVID? So we've been here since it started. At a certain point they made more masks mandatory. Like, we started going into towns and everybody was wearing masks, like in bigger cities. But honestly, people still out,
yeah,
about,
I see
living
people
their
partying
lives.
at night.
Yeah.
Nothing has really changed.
This is also from 3 Paws for Tires. Did you have to, or do you recommend learning a different language?
You'll have to learn some Spanish just to like speak and respond to questions, perhaps from authorities. Like, at each state they'll have like police who are basically just looking for drugs, and all you gotta be is like, no drogas aquí. But I mean, it would help to know more Spanish. But again, download Spanish on Google Translate. Like, you can save it offline, so if you don't have connectivity, and then just type in whatever words you think you're gonna need to know, like just certain phrases, and practice those. Just practice speaking those or writing them down or whatever, and you should be straight.
And Tripping on Melon asks, how's it being black in Mexico? We'll get to that last.
Okay, we gotta remember.
This is from Superlative. Hope you are doing well. She says, what have been your most peaceful moments in Mexico?
That's a good question. Definitely when we pulled up on this beach. It's like beach town outside of Mazatlan, so it was surrounded by like a coconut tree farm in the background, and then it was like a tiny town of like no more than 100 people. And yeah, we was just posted up by the beach, eating fresh fruit, mangoes, whatever, and really just living our life. We did a fast. I made a lot of beats. We made some videos. I feel like that was the most relaxing time.
Yeah, that was gonna be my answer too. It is like people are super chill. Like they notice that you're there and will say hi to you, but it's like you do your thing, they do their thing. So it's also nice in that way.
Yeah, culturally, people ain't up in your business. Like they may want to know, like, yo, where you come from, but they ain't trying to know what you doing today. Like they don't care.
The next question is from Muna Luna 13. Hope you're doing well.
Hey.
She says, can you discuss notions of safety being in a familiar country versus a new one? Good question.
Sometimes it's like, yo, who is this character and why is you a little too close, bruh? Like back up. But I mean, in general, like I don't really see people like looking in our car or like anything like that, nothing strange. And then
yeah, I feel like honestly just because people are less nosy here, they're less nosy but they're still aware, that it makes me feel safe. Also, I feel like people here, if they need you to move, they're more likely to tell you, or even if they call the police, it's still not a U.S. police interaction. So, like for instance, like you can open your door and like talk to them, versus like in America we're not opening our door and talking to you because they're gonna be like, close your door. So just like things like that. Fire the Frequency says, what kinds of safe spaces do you park out? How's the weather / food? What's your fate? I think it might have cut off. But yeah, what kinds of safe spaces do we park at? Overlander and just trusting intuition.
really, like, yeah, if you see a place with, I don't know, a parked car and you may not be in like a super nice neighborhood, it's probably a safe place to park, to be honest.
And the food here, like, I remember when we first got to Mexico, even before we were really like deep in Mexico, the quality of the produce was significantly higher and like just juicier, sweeter than the best mango we had in the US is like the worst mango that we had in Mexico. So
thanks.
Yeah. And weather.
I love the look. So we had just dipped into the tropics, so I feel like the weather is like prime. Like, I mean, they only got dry and wet, and so when it rains, it pours. Don't get it twisted. It's like a more intense rain, but it's not cold. I haven't really encountered cold. I wore a long sleeve one time, and that's because I felt like it. So.
The next question is from Culture Energized.
Hey.
She says, do you miss your family?
Trick question.
I'll say
yes. The answer is yes.
yes.
What you mean?
And then the next question is also from Culture Energized. How do you balance work life and living your best life?
I say I feel like sometimes because the culture is a little different, it's easier to be a little heavy on the life and the light on the work. And so for me, it's being constantly like vigilant of like, okay, like there's people who are depending on the stuff I gotta do, so I can't just be in siesta mode like 24/7 all day every day.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I feel like since people here take more time to just live life, like you just see people sitting outside, people watching that, and also because it's just a new place for us, it's easier to be more life than work. But our bills remind us of work.
Little nice reminder to.
So then, that's all the questions, but the ones we skipped.
Oh, okay.
The one we skipped was, what's it like being black in Mexico?
Well, we're still headed to where the Afro-Mexican people are, so we haven't necessarily even got it from like their perspective, like the more native perspective. But so far, I mean, you'll get a look because people are like, you black and this is Mexico, like what is you doing? But once you're like, hey, it kind of go out the window. Like people is either like cool, or you know, there are some like white presenting Mexican people who will give you the same stuff that a white presenting white person in the United States might give you. So like that's a real thing. But fortunately, they're outnumbered. Most people is brown, dark brown, indigenous looking, so those people is just like, hey, if you out here, like, dope, you want to buy these mangoes or not? Like, they might give you the, you know, non-native price, but I'm pretty sure they ain't gonna give you like the full runaround as if, you know, I had blonde hair, blue eyes. No offense to nobody with blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, I say honestly, it's a relief. Like if I'm comparing being in the U.S. and van lifing as black people versus being in Mexico and van lifing as black people, it's like a sense of relief. Just because like with police, it's not like we're their main target.
They looking for drugs.
It's like,
look, and if you ain't got no drugs, you wasting their time. They ain't even trying to look. Get on my face. We giving you the ID back, like go. And you wasting my time. I was trying to use this AK-47. So
yeah. So, and then I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, it's just honestly nicer out here. We can also park in a lot nicer neighborhoods, even though like most recently, like the last 2 nights, and we had some issues because people called the police on us. But it's all because we're in Guadalajara, so like. But overall, we can park in a lot nicer neighborhoods. Like I remember when we got to a spot in Mazatlan, I was like, "This is where it is. Like, this is some nice houses." But like, nope, it was totally chill.
We was there every day for weeks.
Yeah, like nobody cares. It's completely fine. So that has been nice, just because that's a little less worrying. Because I feel like in America, if it wasn't on 𝐼-Overlander, I was a little stressed. Even if it was on 𝐼-Overlander, I'd still be stressed. Try to think what else. Yeah, people are nice.
Now, like, this is also from like a traveler's perspective. So like, I don't even know what it would be like if we were like legit trying to live out here and like seek employment or find housing. Like, I don't know if we come across discrimination or whatever, but you know, nobody has called me none of the names I know. So that's pretty cool. Also, people will assume that you Jamaican or some like Cuban or Honduran, what's it? Honduranian? Yeah, they'll assume that you like lack Spanish. So like, that's a thing to consider also. And they'll definitely try to sell you weed. Okay, cool. Thank y'all for asking such informative, inquisitive, enlightening questions. I hope you enjoyed our answers. And what else?
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Peace and love to you and yours.